Indian languages, not only Hindi but also Bengali or Assamese or Tamil or whatever. He strongly encouraged that. So thank you for your effort.
Thank you very much for reminding us of His Holiness words, and he gave at that time, I remember, a very good speech on that, and he expressed the need of translating the Buddhist texts which are preserved in Tibetan into Indian languages such as Hindi and others. And unfortunately, there are very few translations in Indian languages. Now we are trying also to translate some of the text in Marathi, and comparatively the situation in the case of Hindi translation is better. And in Sarnath, as we know, our Shastriji, he is the head of the Department of Translation Project, where they translate many words from Tibetan into Hindi. So the work is progressing, and maybe in few years, in the near future, we will have good translations of a number of Buddhist texts. So thank you very much for your presentation, and now the session is over. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the session of such a wonderful way. Now it's time for the presentation to be done. I also thank the participants of the session for their scholarly papers. On behalf of the organizers, I wish to, as a token of our gratitude and admiration, I would like to give the letter. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's post-lunch session. Our chairperson for this session is Dr. Charles Zillman. He has obtained his PhD in Belgium with the study of the Chinese Buddha Varga. He studied in Japan under H. Nakamura, University of Tokyo. He has been a Fulbright Hays visiting scholar at Howard University, Department of Asian Languages and Civilization. He has taught at many universities, including as guest professor at Beijing Language and Cultural University, Banaras Hindu University, Nalanda Mahavihar, University of Calgary, and International College for Undergraduate Buddhist Studies, Postgraduate Buddhist Studies in Tokyo. He is presently rector of the International Buddhist College in Thailand. May I now request to take the charge, sir?
Thank you very much, madam. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce a real scholar, namely Professor Mahinda Padihavadana. He is a professor emeritus, although emeritus is not a good word. It means not meritorious anymore, actually. So I just say retired, which means tired again, actually. At the Sri Jayawardenapura University in Sri Lanka, received his PhD from the University of Ceylon, India, for his thesis titled Secular Leadership in the Veda Period. He was a visiting scholar in Harvard and also a visiting professor in Northwestern University. He has held a post of professor of Sanskrit in Sri Jayavardenapura University and the University of Kelaniya. The title, I have talked enough, I say, please Professor Jayavardhan.
Thank you, sir. You have got this handout. For sake of saving time, I hope to skip the first section, go to page 2 and begin there. When I chose translating a Pali commentary as the subject of my paper, actually I have slightly changed the subject by adding 2 words, revisiting the translation of a Pali commentary. One of the things that I had in mind then was that I would write some aspects of my own experience in this field. I would, for instance, explain how I was baffled by an interpretation or a statement in the commentary and found that it was a rather fascinating, though difficult task to unravel the process of which that interpretation was the result. Several such instances of the products of the translational effort come to mind, and I shall recount 2 of the most challenging. The first section here I call problems with doctrinal terms. The technical part is done by the commentary. What I mean is the part that follows the story. Then you have the story, then you have the down by the verse, and then there is a commentary on the textual aspects or the grammatical aspects of that verse. That's what I meant by saying the technical part of the Dhamma. Is the part that immediately follows the citation of the canonical stanza. This is the section, the Vaiyakarana proper, that deals with grammar, derivation and doctrinal terminology. The comments on grammar and derivation in this book are not sort of hard to translate, and in fact they are surprisingly few, being less than a dozen in the section of the Dhammadhattakatha, where one would expect to find them. Not only that, they also deal with quite elementary matters like the analysis of a compound or Shanti formation. There are instances where it appears that the interpretation given by the commentary is questionable or gives rise to problems that need to be unraveled. Of all the commentaries in the Dhammadhattakatha, the one that appears to be the most problematic is the comment on the very first stanza of the Dhampada. Although the first line of Dhampada 1, the Mano Pugnam Gama Dhamma, that stanza, is a perennial favorite of Theravada Buddhists, John Brown was right when he said that the later complications show that the verse was not fully understood. The popular understanding of its meaning does not accord with the interpretation given by the commentary. The commentary may have erred, but if one sets about translating it, one must try to understand its interpretation. The commentary narrates the traditional story behind the stanza. According to this story, the Buddha uttered this stanza in order to point out the karmic factors that cause the loss of eyesight of the virtuous monk Chakupal. In his previous life, says the commentary, he was a doctor who succeeded in curing an eye trouble of a certain woman. The patient feels too stingy to pay the doctor's fee and pretends that she has not been cured. At this, the doctor turns malevolent and administers a preparation that instantly destroys the eyesight. Now, our stanza says that words and actions stemming from a corrupted mind inevitably lead to suffering. The doctor acted under the sway of a wrathful disposition. He is having to suffer from blindness in his next life as the elder Chakkupada. Looks like the karmic effect of their action done with corrupted mind. The story seems to fit. The difficulties arise when you go to the commentator's interpretation. We have on this verse not only the very complicated commentary of the Dhammapada, but also another commentary from the pen of the erudite commentator Dhammapada, and also an emphatic suggestion from Buddha on how to interpret the stanza. Now, Buddha is the most orthodox and the most authoritative commentator. The author of the Dhammapada begins his comment by saying that mano, mind or perception or perceptual consciousness, is the cognitive faculty manifesting in any of the four spheres of existence. He then adds that here the context limits and specifies it with thought that arose in the doctor of the given story. The technical description of that thought is consciousness linked with displeasure and a concomitant hostile intention. This is a typically Abhidhammic definition and is to be expected in a commentary. Displeasure is a process of feeling and aggressive intention is a process of volition. These two, and a perception or idea, constitute the three what are called non-material aggregates. Arupino Dhamma. Dhammapada says that these are the Dhamma mentioned in our stanza. We have these two words, Mano and Dhamma. We can make a case for referring to them collectively as mental states. That means these of volition, feeling, all that. As mental states. Mano or mind then is the faculty that can sense or observe or perceive them. The relationship of the two is called Sampayoga, concomitance or simultaneous association. In Abhidhamma perspective, the primacy or priority, better said the primacy of perception to intention and emotion is metaphorical. In reality, what obtains is simultaneity of perception, feeling and intention. A short prose passage in another text, Anguttara Nikaya 1.11, also expresses this idea of mind preceding mental states. Actually, the wording is practically the same, only thing it's in prose, part of it, part of the verse, and part of this Anguttara Nikaya commentary. I agree totally. Buddha comments on this in the Anguttara Atthakatha. There he says that the idea of mind preceding the Dhamma should not be taken literally. Please note that I am not translating the word Dhamma because that's the word we are discussing. There is no time lag between perception and intention. Therefore, the intention is covered by Dhamma. They arise together and at the same time. After saying this, Buddha goes out of his way and offers a piece of advice on how to interpret the stanza Mano Kupangama Dhamma. Obviously, he is referring to the Dhammapada, so he doesn't mention Dhammapada or Dhammapada Tagata. But he uses stanza. If you like, in the footnote, I think there are specific corrections needed in the footnote. Mano Kupangama Dhamma, Mano Sitta, Mano Vyasa Gata. He is so nice. I mean, this method should be followed. It should be interpreted as he interpreted the Anguttara passage. He even hints that to do otherwise is to follow the letter rather than the spirit. Interesting word in there. Vyantana Chayam Gahitva Pataman Chittam Padjati Pacha Desikati Nagahitapa. atto hi patikarana na vyanjana. Atto, atta is the meaning, vyanjana is the letter. It is highly likely that this position taken by Buddha is quite unusual to my knowledge. It is highly likely that this position taken by Buddha is an indication that he is aware of the prevalence of a different way of interpreting this stanza. When we read the Dhammapada carefully, we see that it indeed contains such a different way of interpretation. Dhammapada also follows the theory of concomitance at the beginning of his comment. But when it comes to the third line of the stanza, which refers to pollution of mind, the commentator takes recourse to the example of a flowing stream, which is pure at the source, but gets polluted by intrusive substances, like blue, color, etc., as it flows on. The word for intrusive even in the commentary is agantu, but what comes from outside, you can say. By using this simile, he in effect compares the factors that corrupt mind to substances that discolor the clear waters of a stream, intruding into it at a later point. This can easily be taken as conflicting with the idea of concomitance that Buddha has emphasized. Now, I said there are three interpretations. The first, of course, is Dhammapada, and then now we have Buddha's interpretation, and now there is another one. In the Netchipakarana Arthakatha, Netchipakarana is not a canonical text, but it is an authoritative text, and Dhammapada commentary. And in that commentary, this commentary is a radical revision of the Dhammapada Arthakatha commentary. If you read the two, you find that parts are omitted and certain little revisions are made, but otherwise he is following for the rest the phraseology of the Dhammapada itself. He uses the proverbial red pencil liberally and expunges all details, including the simile of the stream and the reference to the luminous or natural mind which is found in the Dhammapada comment, which gets corrupted by intrusive defilements. This comment is about half the size of the Dhammapada comment. So it is radically reduced. So it becomes clear that Dhammapada differs from the Dhammapada in rejecting the simile of the stream. Dhammapada's position agrees fully with the critique implied in Buddha's comment mentioned above. That it seems so to me. We can, on the basis of this, be sure that Buddha cannot be the author of the existence of Dhammapada. It can also be surmised that the Dhammapada inherited its interpretation from the old single commentary. What Buddha criticizes is most likely the stand taken by the old commentary. I say this because Buddha could have been the Pali Dhammapada because Dhammapada may not have come into being at his time. So his criticism was definitely based criticism of the old single commentary, so which was very faithfully followed by Dhammapada evidently. So we can here get a little idea about the nature of the lost single commentary, and that is quite an interesting thing. The way that this verse is interpreted by commentators reminds one of an observation made by Richard Gombrich in his book called The Source. It's about what we call the systematic effect of literal. Once the text has been formulated, their words were carefully preserved. Sometimes too much was read into them, and its technical significance was ascribed to some quite normal and innocent expression. So I'm quoting this because I think the Dhammapada verse may have a much simpler meaning. It seems to me now, of course I'm not sure, that the idea of the first verse must be the primacy of mind over speech and action. The very point on which the Buddha differs from the Jain feeling on action. He always held that mental karma is more important than the other forms of karma. Therefore, should we not take Dhamma here as referring to speech and action rather than the treat on material aggregates? If you take it that way, It is in perfect agreement with Buddha's teaching and yields a sense that is logically consistent. The problem then is to find a word for Dhamma that's capable of including both speech and action while not excluding so-called non-material activities. So that's